welcome back to another video with me, Emil. I've had my eyes on a particular amplifier for a while now. If you watch my previous videos, you know I've fallen in love in the tweed mode, in the Mesa Boogie Mark V, and lately also the TA15. So the tweed is kind of slang for an old Fender amp, and today I have an old Fender amp with me. This is a Fender BASSMAN 50 watt head from the early 70s. It has two 6L6s in the power section, and like many of my Marshalls, it is also modded. It is so hard to find original gear from like the 70s. It seems like everyone wants to mod everything from that era. Anyway, you're probably familiar with the mod if you watch my previous videos about my Marshalls. Yes, indeed, this amp, this head, I should say, is modded by this Swedish guy called FOLKESSON, and I think he's probably pretty much modded entire Sweden, it seems like. So, like I said, I've had my eyes on a BASSMAN for a while, preferably late 60s, early 70s. I've heard some clips, and I've like kind of decided this isn't the sound for me. They are fairly clean. They can do a great job at a fat blues tone, but I kind of want some more. I want to push it some more, get some more gain out of it. Anyway, so this amp came up, the modded. So it now has two channels. One is kind of like the original BASSMAN sound. I'm gonna demonstrate both channels in a while, but it also comes with a channel 2, which is much higher gain. So it kind of, the seller explained it to me like it is kind of like in JTM 45 to Plexi-ish. It can definitely get, I think, to my ears, more gain than a Plexi. So it's like a hot-rodded Marshall Plexi. So I went to the guy that sold it and just demoed it. I played it for a long time because I was kind of skeptical. I said to the guy, if I don't like it, if I'm not blown away, I'm not gonna buy this today because the BASSMAN isn't for me. Yeah, by the way, I've recently got the Kemper also, and I've tried a lot of BASSMAN profiles on that, and it's cool. I like it, but I think I prefer some other stuff. So like I said, I told the seller, if I'm not blown away by this amp, I'm not gonna buy it. And with the channel 2 sounding like it does, I was just blown away. And the first channel, kind of like the original BASSMAN channel, was just awesome as well. But it had a lot to do with, like, we were playing at a loud volume. He had a great 412 vintage greenback cabinet, so of course it sounded great. But anyway, short story, I bought it and I love it. I actually haven't been able to try it fully because what I didn't know was this head, the BASSMAN head, they were only 4 ohm output, so that kind of messed with my plan to make a video out of this amp, because what I usually use is this captor, the 2-note. I don't know if you can see it, captor, and my version is a 16 ohm, and I am cool with like mismatching impedance, like one step. So let's say if it would have been an 8 ohm box, that should be fine. Or if my amp is like many of my Marshalls, I actually just let it stay in the 8 ohm setting, because I don't believe mismatching one step in either direction, I think, isn't a big deal. It can actually just help you create some cool tones. But mismatching, like going from 4 ohm all the way up to 16, that, I don't know, I wasn't comfortable with that. I know some of the, I talked to my dad, who was a musician in the 60s, late 50s and 60s. He told me we used to mismatch like brutally all the time, and no one cared. It sounded fine. So there are like two schools about this. Some says if you mismatch, if you have a higher load than your amp, that is fine. Some say you can't go with a lower load, but I think it's all reasonable, and doing too big of a mismatch isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it isn't great too. So what I'm doing today is I'm using a cabinet for this video. I haven't done that in a while. I usually just line it, but what this brings is I'm not going to be able to crank this amp like I used to cook the power tubes, but I think this amp sounds pretty good at a normal level also. So this first video, the first impression video, is going to be the volume isn't going to be all the way up, and I know a lot of people use their amps like that, so I thought it was a good idea just to mic the cab up, and I'm not playing extremely loud, but it is fairly loud in the room. Just gonna demonstrate to you how good actually the mod is that FOLKESSON does, because if you're looking for a practice amp or some amp you can turn down and it still sounds great, I mean, look no further. Try to pick one up. I mean, I think there's a lot of them floating around in eBay if you're not in Sweden or near Sweden. So I mean, forget attenuators and stuff like that. The FOLKESSON mod is actually perfect for playing at low volumes, and I'm gonna show that to you today. And I'm already talking too much here. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's begin by check out the original BASSMAN channel. So I have something set up like this. So I believe that would be something like the maximum gain you can get. I can actually crank it up even more in the first channel. So I love that sound. That sounds phenomenal. I haven't tried it with a tube screamer, but I would imagine that sound would be so cool. So let me guide you through all the modified knobs here. So I have a volume, sort of a master volume, and a tone. I have it set to about 7, and it gives me this tone. So set to my preference, and I also have the bright switch, which works like it used to be, and the gain all the way up. So try to back this down and see what happens. So at 50% or 5 in this case, this amp goes to 10, not 11. So let's pick up. So a cool sound, and it reminds me a lot of all the profiles I've tried on the Kemper, like your regular BASSMAN sound. But we're not here for that. Well, sort of. But I'm here for the channel 2, the added channel that sounds just phenomenal. It sounds like this. Yes, absolutely phenomenal. And this is with the volume all the way down. I mean, I have a lot of volume, a lot of headroom. So this amp surely is loud. It's around 50 watts. And okay, so let me talk to you about this channel. I have the bass set around 4. That is at 4 out of 10, and the treble all the way up. Actually, I felt it needed a little push, and this is with the gain on full. It also has 4 knobs on the back, like your regular FOLKESSON kind of mod. He hides some of the knobs in the back, so it still looks the part, so it still looks original. So I have a solo volume, so I can boost a little if I'm playing a solo. I also have a mid control, so I'm gonna show you what that does in a second here. And I have a master volume, which I'm not gonna use because I'm happy with the levels and it's not clipping or distorting, so I'm gonna leave that. It is set fairly low. It's around like 9 o'clock, so I have a lot of volume to go. And I have a presence knob. So yeah, and the deep switch is engaged. So I mean, it sounds great, and I want to play a solo from a song from my band. I've played it before on the channel. Anyway, I use it to compare stuff. Today we have nothing to compare, so I'm just gonna play you the stuff, and yeah, hope you like this short overview. It was just like a first test. Let me, since I'm not gonna be able to talk that much while I'm playing, I'm gonna go over the controls of the channel 2 and then play you the songs with this settings. Okay, so this sound I just played, I'm gonna use for the track. Okay, so let's see if we can back the gain down in the channel 2. This is like 50%. So it's crunchy and cool. Let's raise it up. So I think that sound would sound phenomenal with a tube screamer. Let's bump the gain up and take the treble all the way down. It is way too muddy, so I'm not even gonna bother bringing it all down. I like it on 10. The bass I have set on 4. Let's boost it up to 8. cool if you're doing like palm muting rhythm stuff. And all the way down, all the way off. Just sounds like a toy amplifier. So for the solo stuff, I like it at around 4. Yeah. Oh yeah, presence and mid. Well, I kind of don't want to mess with that right now. I'll go more in depth with that later on. But for now, I'm just gonna play the song before this video gets too long. And yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this amp, and I'll see you in the next video where I'll do a more in-depth and also pushing the volumes a little bit. Okay, thanks for watching, and actually I might do the track before the video. So this is me saying goodbye. All right, see you later. Bye.